Hey everybody, today I want to make a video to let you know that I just uploaded to my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com, 3 brand new Beatles pressings that are all absolutely fantastic. But before I start, I hope you all enjoyed the video yesterday that I made talking about this Beatles remasters box set, vinyl box set. I enjoyed all of your comments, by the way, and it was a fun video to make. But let's get right into talking about these pressings that I just listed on the website. So the first one is Sgt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is, of course, the Beatles' 1967 masterpiece. And this happens to be a stereo UK pressing. And it indeed comes from that collection of records that I bought from a person a couple of weeks ago that I talked about in not the last video, but the video before. And he just had an immaculate collection of records, and this is one of the ones that came from his collection. And it is an amazing sounding pressing of Sgt Pepper. Now, when it comes to Sgt Pepper, really, this is probably the most famous record of all time, right? I mean, as far as records go, you've got like Dark Side of the Moon, Pet Sounds, Sgt Pepper, and arguably of all of those, Sgt Pepper is the most famous. So when you listen to Sgt Pepper, you want to have the absolute best analog sound you can possibly have, and in my opinion, this pressing is it right here. This has all the warm bass that you could ever want, excellent clarity. It's just got it all on here. So much warmth, so much depth. This is the pressing to go when it comes to Sgt Pepper, as far as Sgt Pepper in stereo, that is. I also love the mono mix of Sgt Pepper, but we'll get into that some other day. But this is a stereo pressing. This happens to be from the mid-1970s, and it's just an absolutely beautiful condition, as you can see. This vinyl plays dead quiet, and what I mean by that is the space in between the songs, and by the way, there isn't much space in between these songs on Sgt Pepper, because a lot of them go into each other, but there is a little bit of space in between each song, and it is dead quiet. Now, is that important? Yes, because that means there's less surface noise interrupting the music, and with this pressing, it's almost got zero surface noise, and that is so important and so rare to find when it comes to records. But just because there's no surface noise doesn't mean the record's going to be great, because it still has to sound excellent, and this one really does. So this is a very special pressing of Sgt Pepper. So if you're interested in picking this one up, if I can get it back in its little sleeve there we go. Interested in picking this one up, head to the website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. As I always say with the Beatles albums, this will go very quickly. So head on over, check out Sgt Pepper. By the way, it comes with the original insert that was included in here, which is like the little, like, you could cut them out kind of insert thing, but why would you cut it out? That would be kind of weird, but you could if you want to. Included with Sgt Pepper. Now, moving on, as one of my neighbors here is doing some sawing of something, so you might hear occasional chainsaws. But don't be scared. He's a nice man. Okay, moving on to the Beatles' White Album. This is a stereo pressing of the Beatles' White Album, a UK stereo pressing. And this does not come from that person's collection that I was talking about, but it is great in itself. This is just like Sgt Pepper, one of the most famous albums of all time. When it comes to the Beatles, really, all the albums are some of the most famous albums of all time. But really, the White Album is just universally known as just a fantastic record. And of course, it is a double album. And this happens to be on the Apple label. And again, I think I already mentioned it. This is a UK stereo pressing in absolutely beautiful shape. And I've had other identical pressings of this exact pressing on my website before. These sound so great. Sometimes with the White Album, there are some pressings out there, especially like the US pressings, the original US pressings from like 68 and even into like early 70s, that are just kind of lifeless. And even some of the later pressings for the White Album, there's just something kind of missing with them. And these UK pressings, they have so much magic going on. They bring back a certain presence to the White Album. And it's just really, in my opinion, the only way to listen to the White Album, the stereo mix of the White Album. It's got everything that you could want from the White Album. How many times can I say the White Album? I think I said it like at least 6 times in that last, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. Anyway, this is the second record. Also in very, very nice shape. And by the way, sometimes when I make these videos, it's like I've already said so much about these records before. So if you're looking for more information on some of these pressings, just go back to some of my older videos and you'll see I have certain videos that are dedicated to just the White Album or just Sgt Pepper, and I give you all my opinions on which pressings I think are the best, why I like them, etc., etc. But this White Album, I'm telling you, sounds absolutely brilliant, and definitely worth checking out on my website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. And again, like Sgt Pepper, this comes with the original inserts, and I will show them to you because why not? So you get, and by the way, the inserts are absolutely in like near mint condition. You get all 4 photos of the Beatles. There's Paul, there's John, there's George, and there's Ringo. And you get the poster that comes with the album. I'm not going to unfold the whole thing, but it's a very, very cool poster. And on the back, you get all the lyrics written out for the album. So I will put these back inside the White Album. And I will carry on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that after I've done with the video, because I have one more record to show you. And this one is another Beatles album, and it is Beatles For Sale. This is from 1964. This happens to be a pressing from the mid-70s again. And it happens to be a UK pressing and a stereo pressing. And I talked about in my other videos before how a lot of the early Beatles albums, by the way, when I say early Beatles albums, I mean the first 4. So Please Please Me, With the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, and Beatles For Sale. In my opinion, that's the early Beatles time period. And of the early Beatles time period, when it comes to the stereo mixes, I really have a hard time with With the Beatles. It sounds very just uneven. The mix isn't very good. Same with Please Please Me. It's a little bit better than With the Beatles, but I still prefer the mono. But for A Hard Day's Night and Beatles For Sale, I prefer the stereo mixes because they're so great. And this one is excellent. This is a record that actually does come from that person's collection that I bought, which means it is absolutely immaculate. This is a brilliant, brilliant sounding record, but also just the condition of this is beautiful as this falls over. But it's really, really, really nice. And this has HTM in the dead wax, which is very important because that stands for Harry T. Moss. Harry T. Moss cut a lot of these UK 1970s UK pressings of the Beatles albums, and he did an excellent, excellent job using the original master tapes, using all analog equipment, and it really, really shows. The sound quality on this pressing and all the other ones that he worked on are just top-notch. Really, really the way to go. And in some ways, even better than the original, yes, I said it, original Beatles pressings from the 1960s on the black and yellow Parlophone label. So that's not always the case, but in some cases. This is just an amazing sounding record, and Beatles For Sale is what I call my underdog Beatles album. I think this is the one that doesn't get enough love, kind of gets overlooked, and I just love this album so much. So Beatles For Sale is on the website, needlemeetsvinyl.com, as is the White Album, which I got to put all the other stuff back in it, but it's all here, I promise. But let's make sure we don't hurt it, so I'll put it right there. And Sgt Pepper. All 3 of these albums are on the website, needlemeetsvinyl.com. Go to the website, check these out, and hey, if you're in the market for an amazing Sgt Pepper or White Album or Beatles For Sale or all 3, hey, head on over there and check them out. And more videos coming soon. I have a bunch of ideas for some Beatle-related videos, also other band-related videos. I've kind of been thinking about making a Led Zeppelin video, because I haven't really done one of those in a while. And I might be making a jazz video. I might try to put together my top 10 jazz albums list of jazz pressings that I actually owned in my collection. So stay tuned for all that kind of stuff. And hey, stay healthy, stay happy, and bye for now.